Hi everyone, my name's Cathy. Welcome to Skint Living and welcome to Frugal Friday, where I chat about the viewers' tips and tricks, the frugal tips that they have, and the comments, which are usually fun, interesting and diverse. We often talk about all kinds of things that's going on in our lives, and I like to share them, but I always ask people if it's okay. So today, we're going to keep on talking as usual about random stuff. So if you like to talk about random stuff or have a ponder on it, please watch our Frugal Friday video every week. So last week I was talking about Victorian schools being renovated because a lot of councils have realised it's cheaper, better for the environment and will last longer than these new build ones are, where it also gets the school into debt for like 30 odd years, and it's just like by the time it's got to the end of 30 years the school's fallen apart. I used to be a teacher and I've taught in new build schools and they're rubbish. Heating didn't work properly. There wasn't enough room for a whole school assembly. The kids didn't have long enough to have dinner time because there wasn't, the way the dinners were organised was just awful. So loads of kids weren't getting fed. It was just a whole nightmare. Yeah, so because I was talking about Victorian schools, a couple of people were talking about their Victorian schools. Sandra Perry, 8653. Hey, honey, she said she went to an old Victorian infant and junior school. Yeah, me too. She said the toilets were at the bottom of the yard. They had the old wooden seats, but no flush. It was just water running in a gully underneath. Yeah, we used to have Victorian toilets. I went to a Victorian school up to second year in juniors. And it was walled off, and around in the middle of the wall was another little wall to separate the boys from the girls, but the wall wasn't particularly high and the boys used to pee over the wall. It was like a competition who to see who could do that, and the girls would be screaming in terror and the lads would be laughing their heads off. But you got to bear in mind, this is the 1970s. That wouldn't be tolerated now, as you know. But at the time, it was like, we used to get together and we used to go, I don't want to go in the end toilet because that's where the boys pee on you. Yeah, she said she had a lovely teacher called Miss K. And one Christmas, they all got presents. The boys got a football each, but the girls got crocheted little hats. And I was meant to hold pins and needles. And she's sewing a little thimble on top. And they were decorated with felt leaves. And she says hers was blue. And she still got it. She keeps it safe in her sewing box. And she's told her daughter when she's gone to keep it safe. So it's like a proper family heirloom, and which she said, which really touched me, is she wished she could tell her teacher that she still got it. That's such a lovely teacher, and Sandra, that's so nice. It's nice, a lovely heirloom to pass on to your daughter. Oh, it's just, yeah, very touching. She says not long after the war, her mum made sure that they had a lovely Christmas, even though there wasn't much about. And mum put an order in the co-op and they've got a real Christmas cake and a Christmas pudding. She made a card for her mum and her gran and they were dead pleased with it. And her mum taught in it, and they used to use Ripple and embroider squares. And now she's knitting for her third grandson, even though she's got arthritis. Very admirable, honey. You're still sticking with it. I struggle with it, and me nana taught me to knit, but I didn't really like it. It was just made my hands really ache. So I sort of stuck with the crochet. My nan taught me to crochet as well. We had a craft teacher who used to come in once a week, and a few of us would go off and do some crafting with her, and she tried to teach us crochet, and I couldn't get the hang of it because she was right-handed, and she got annoyed at me because she showed me right-handed backwards, which isn't left-handed, and she told me off in front of the group for being left-handed. And I was like, and every week my teacher would go, oh, you go to craft? And I'd be like, nah. I never went back. I just thought, oh, you paid a fool of me in front of everybody. So I was like, yeah, that won't be happening. So I've always been stubborn, even when I was little. I think I was like 6. And I was like, no, I'm not going. So yeah, I never did go back. So I asked my nan, because I asked my mum at first, but she's right-handed, and she just got annoyed with me. And I thought, oh, here we go, this is a running theme. And my nan taught me, and it was like a few minutes, and it was good, because my nan, believe it or not, was ambidextrous. There's a story behind that, which I'll probably tell you another time, because it's a bit sad, but yeah, my nan was ambidextrous, but it was a sight to behold, because you never know what way she was doing stuff. It was amazing. Yeah, so we moved house. We lived with my granddad, me, my mum and my sister. And we moved out when I was in second year juniors, so about 7 or 8, yeah. 1976, so yeah, I must have been about 8. I keep thinking I was 7, but I wasn't, I was 8. Because it was before my birthday. And this was the 1960s school. And it was so different from the other school I'd been to. And it was 2 floors, but in the middle of the school was a quadrangle, a garden. So the garden was outside, but all the classrooms were wrapped around it. And me and my mate, her name was Maria, we used to be in charge of the school's pets, which were guinea pigs and a hamster. So that's where I got my love of guinea pigs and hamster, because as I grew up, I always had a hamster. My kids always had a hamster, and we had guinea pigs later on. And we used to be able to go into that grass quadrangle bit and with the pets, and they'd be nibbling the grass, and we used to go in at lunchtime and be waving at the kids through the glass, and they'd be like, how come you're in there? Or at the end of the day, during the break, like half term or whatever, we were asked to take them home, so we did, and we'd look after them over the holidays. And we were also in charge of plants, because we had a teacher, Mrs. Keogh. She was lovely. And me and me mate Maria, we were in charge of watering all the plants everywhere. And there were spider plants everywhere. So I think that's where I got my love for plants from. She tried to teach us piano, and she even put stickers on all the keys, but we were hopeless, but we had good fun doing it. Such a lovely teacher. She had a big impact on me, because she was like very pro, like women can do anything sort of thing. You know, you can do this, sort of thing. Yeah, it's very good. Definitely made an impression on me. Yeah, so rambled about. Got me notes. Kids and grandkids, hello hon. She says I should write a book about all the comments again. She said it would be a bestseller. I do get some lovely comments, I must admit. It is a complete highlight to have on the channel. Even though I've got a teeny tiny channel and all the 5 people watch it, you all make lovely comments. It's lovely. A new lady, Jane Pennock, Pennock 6933. She said, and I thought this was funny, she was sitting on the sofa with her 2 dogs with the snoring, and she was watching my video, and she thought, oh, is that the dog snoring? Then she realised she muted the sound on the video she was watching last week's video. It was my dog snoring. She thought it was her dog's, and it wasn't, it was mine. So that's Willow for you. She's a professional snorer. Yeah, so I did 3 emergency funds. I recommend the actual emergency funds in case of job loss or something major you need in your life. Like me, I had to get, last time, my fund got run down by me needing to replace my electric shower, to buy a new shower, get a plumber in, an electrician in, and all the rest of it. It became a thing. But I also recommend that you also have some money in your purse. So if a bargain comes about, or like if you're shopping and see you've only got £20 and it comes to £21 10 you've got the £1 10. So you've always got a bit of extra money in your purse. And of course, have a little bit in the house, not loads. 10, maybe 20 quid, something like that. If the bank tills aren't working, if there's a power cut, so it definitely won't be working, or if you need something that's coming to the end of the month, end of the week, and you need to get some shopping, you've got that little buffer there, and then once you get paid, you put it back. And that's the key to it. You need to put it back. Otherwise, something happens again next time, and you think, it's not there. Sandra Perry says she has a separate fund for the vet. Yeah, me too. I've got £200 there stashed in a separate account because I haven't got pet insurance at the moment. So when I move house, I'll get one with the local vets. But in the meantime, yeah. A lady from another channel, Live Your Best Budget Life, says she likes the idea of having a purse emergency fund. Thank you, honey. Lynn Norman 2144 says she keeps a £5 note wrapped around her debit card. So, because she's like, the problem with having a debit card, and she put it really well, is that you think, oh, well, I'm using my card, so I might as well get some extra bits. And then a treat, and then, yeah, it all spirals, doesn't it? Whereas if you're just £1 or two short and you've got it, you don't need to touch the debit card, and then you don't need to be spending money you really can't afford to spend. Jan Johnson, 5209. Hiya, Jan. How you doing, honey? A 10-year-old washing machine's died. She's hoping her husband can fix it, but she's got the money there because she says she's too old to be washing clothes in the bath. You're right, honey. Your back won't put up with it, and your poor hands will end up all shriveled with the washing powder. Another channel again, Heart Humble Homestead, lovely Kirsty. She's wrote a few comments. Hello, Kirsty. She says she's got building an emergency fund back up, and she's been challenged to a pantry challenge, so I presume that's just living out your pantry. Oh, lovely Frank Machael. Hello, Frank, over there in Ireland. Now listen to this, he's so organised. He's got a 3-month emergency fund, case of job loss of income, that sort of thing. He's got a grocery buffer budget. He's got an emergency fund for appliances, and he keeps a few euros at home in case the ATM's not working. I'm impressed, Frank. You've got it sussed. You've got it sorted. Well done, lad. Pat on the back to you. Well done. Jean Smith 3367. Hello, Jean. She says she keeps spare cash in her purse and in the house. Well done, honey. I think that's the way to go. I've lots of little things here, there and everywhere, so there's always a little buffer for anything in case you run out of milk, bread, or something annoying like toilet paper. Yeah, as you know, I've been insulating my bedroom, so thank you for all the supportive comments. I really appreciate it. I got some bargain buys from the charity shop. It wasn't on Cheapy Tuesday, it was Cheapy Wednesday, where I bought a lovely 1970s trolley for £5 and a leather inlaid whatnot shelf for £3, so I'm really pleased. And a new commenter, Diane O'Sullivan 5075. Hello, Diane. She's got 4 Babycham glasses, 4 decanters, and listen to this, and she's got her grandmother's 1920s wedding glasses. Oh, you lucky thing. Isn't that lovely? That is a treasure, isn't it? From your grandmother. Oh, I bet they're beautiful. And I also talked about this, that and the other, but I mentioned the poor old fella at Tesco's. He'd drawn money out the till and then he'd lost his card. And I said you need to use the app if you've got the banking app on your phone or whatever device you've got, so you can go on it and you can freeze your card because of contactless spending now, isn't it? So if someone's got your card, they can spend £100 in every shop, have a field day, and you can do nothing about it. And lovely Lisa Heath-R5A said Martin Lewis recommends that you press 159 on your phone and it goes through to a central hub, and they'll ask you what bank that you're banking at, and they'll connect it to your bank, and then the bank will freeze it. 159 on your phone, and then sort it from there. And that tip was from Martin Lewis, so thank you for that, Lisa. I really appreciate it, and I hope it's of some help to people out there. But if you've got the banking app, you can do it yourself in a few seconds. So even if you don't want to use a banking app, download it today, because you just never know, you might lose your card. And then to end on, lovely June Lyon 3965. Hello, June. You're always do lovely comments. Thank you, June. She says you can ask your bank to downgrade your card so it hasn't got the contactless on it. It's not on the card at all. so you can downgrade your card. So if you don't want the contactless, they'll downgrade your bank card for you and send you a new one without the contactless on it. So there you go, that's a great tip. Thanks ever so much, everybody. Keep yourself well watered, and keep yourself cool at night. Keep those feet out the bed and look after your pets as well as yourself. Bye for now, and keep sending me wonderful comments because it certainly brightens my day. Bye for now.